Okay, so there's a debate, right? Sit or stand when we're selling. So I'm going to go over just really, really quick the pros and cons and the pros of standing and which one you should choose based upon how well you know yourself. So sit if you feel like you have too much energy. I've seen guys that are standing on the calls, and because they're standing, for some reason that blood is pumping, the energy is flowing, they talk way too fast, they talk too much, and before you know it, prospect's sitting there going, what just happened? They feel like they got ran over. We don't want to make them feel that way. So sit if you have too much energy. If you feel yourself talking too fast, you're talking too much, you're really over-delivering and you're becoming overwhelming, you can kind of see that on the prospect side, sit down, cool down, relax, have a glass of water, enjoy yourself. And the biggest thing here too I want to hit on is that if you are selling in person, your closing should be seated always. Very hard to try to close standing. Get the prospect seated. Like if you're selling furniture or cars or whatever, you got to be on your feet. You got to be moving around. Totally get that. But when it's time to close the sale, sit down, slow down, and put yourself in the best situation possible. And geez, that could even be for if you're on Zoom. Maybe you have a standing desk that can come up and down. And it's time to get close and start talking about money and lower that desk down, have a seat. Okay, great. Let's talk about your investment. That's perfectly fine. I don't think anyone's going to find that weird. So sit if you have too much energy, you talk too much, you talk too fast, or you're selling in person. Stand if you are someone who kind of comes across as low energy. Maybe you're told you need to have a little bit more excitement when you sell, and maybe you got to be able to drive the sale a little bit harder. Stand up. Give yourself that opportunity. Standing can change your state immediately. Having a rough day, maybe you've been on a couple sales calls today and they just haven't closed. Things have felt off and you've been seated for the last 4 hours. Get your ass out of the chair. Stand up. Lack of energy, stand up. Need to deliver stronger, more clear in messages, stand up. If you get distracted easily, I know when I'm seated and I'm on meetings, I'm also thinking about everything else that's going on. But for some reason, if I'm on a meeting and I'm standing up, most of the time, I'm pretty darn good. Now listen, if I'm not always distracted on meetings, right? But I find myself, it's easier for me to get distracted. And if I feel like it's starting to slip away, I got to raise that desk up. We got to get to work. So hopefully this helps. Sit or stand. Again, sit if you have too much energy, talk too much, talk too fast, or if you're closing in person. Stand if you lack the energy. You need to have stronger, more clear delivery, or you feel like you get distracted easily. If you can just be self-aware and identify these things, sitting or standing should be a pretty easy answer.